Hey, everybody. I want to tell you about a TV show from a ways ago, and then they've made several movies about it since then. And this TV show was called Mission Impossible. So, mission is something that had to get done, and impossible means it can't happen. There's no way, right? Impossible. So Mission Impossible, and there would be this recording that would play, and then the actor would have to decide, like, the character would decide, okay, can I do it? Can I not do it? And that was always your mission, should you choose to accept it, right? So Mission Impossible, that word impossible is so interesting because that's exactly what it means. Impossible means there is no way, it can't be done. But I don't know if that's always true, although there's certainly been times that I have felt like something is impossible. Barry, has that ever felt like that for you?
Yeah, that felt that way for me when I first started recording music. I'd always written music and played music with different people in clubs and stuff like that. But when I wanted to go into the studio and really record, I thought, I don't really know how to do this, and I don't know anybody else who knows how to do it. And I had to change my mind about that. And I got into this goofy little Broncos song thing and wound up in the studio recording a Broncos song. And it helped me realize I can do this. I can do this. And it changed my mind about that. And so something that started out as being impossible became something that I could do.
Yeah, there's a lot of ideas that I think we consider impossible that suddenly become true. Like some things that people consider impossible is that everyone will be able to travel in space. Right now, only trained astronauts really travel in space, but someday all of us could travel in space, or that we would have the ability to make something invisible. So my favorite example of that is in Harry Potter, right, with the invisibility cloak. Will we actually be able to put something on that would make us invisible? Or that we'll be able to, right now sometimes you get a shot, you go to the doctor and you get a shot, that there will actually be tiny minuscule little robots in that shot that can go into your body and help give information about what's wrong or make you healthier. All three of those things sound pretty impossible, and actually all three of those things are happening right now. People can travel in space. It's super expensive. All of these ideas are super expensive, but they are all already happening. So these things are impossible to imagine, and yet they're already here. So I want you to think about something that you think is impossible, right? Something that you're like, that would be super cool. I really want to make that, or I really want to go there, or I really want to do that, or I really want to get that, but it's impossible, right? That's my mission. I want that, or I want to get that, or go there, and it's impossible. And I want you to just maybe think about changing your thinking a little bit, instead of impossible to mission possible, that there is a way. And we have a few ideas about how you start that process of changing your thinking. So I think the first thing is you make a plan. Like if you know there's something you want, you write it down, or you draw a picture. You make a plan as far as, okay, this is the impossible thing that I want to happen. And you just start there. And then what's the next thing that you can do, Barry?
I think the next thing you can do is make mistakes. Be comfortable making mistakes, because that's how you learn. Thomas Edison, who made the light bulb, he kept trying different things for the filament. Finally came up with tungsten, but he used hundreds of other things, and instead of looking them at failures, he said, okay, now I know that doesn't work. Now I can keep moving forward. So I think in our lives it's the same thing. We don't have to be afraid to make mistakes. Making mistakes is how we learn. And so when we're trying to go someplace we haven't been before that looks impossible to us, we have to get into that terrain where we're willing to try new things and we're willing to fail.
I think that's true. So make a plan, be okay with making some mistakes while you work towards your impossible goal, or should we say your possible goal. And then the other thing is you have to be strong, right? Show me your muscles. Be strong. because someone else might come along and say, there's no way that can happen. And you need to be able to be okay and be like, you know what, that's okay for you, but I still think this could happen. And then there's one more really important piece as far as making something happen. And what is that, Barry?
Well, one is about getting help. Get help from people who might know something about what you want to do. That's always a good thing to do. You look at people as kind of what we call mentors or teachers. Like if I know somebody who does something that I would like to do, I'm going to say, can I meet you for a cup of coffee and talk about this? I'd like to know how you do that. And that's helped me along the way to do things that I didn't know how to do, but I could break into a new area by getting help.
That's true. And, you know, as a kid, maybe getting help means talking to your parents or some of your other family members, or maybe your family has another family friend that knows something about what it is that you want to do. Maybe you'll meet somebody who has some information or some knowledge or some of the pieces that you need to make your goal more possible. But beyond all of that, our plan and our help and being strong and making mistakes, what is the biggest part for you, Barry?
I think you got to believe. You got to believe that you can do it. And that's a part of how we change our thinking. As long as we think something's impossible to us, then it is. So we have to change our thinking. There's a cool quote that I remember I heard when I was a little kid from a teacher. It said, don't say a thing's impossible. The chances are you'll rue it. Someday, someone who doesn't know will come along and do it. So if we believe something is impossible to us, then it is. So we have to change our thinking and believe and know that we're not alone. God is with us too. And when we change our thinking and believe in something, doors start to open that we didn't see there before, and things just start to fall together. I don't know exactly how that works, but I know that it does, and it starts with our belief.
I agree with you. I think believing in what it is that you want is the most important part. And when you have that belief, just what Barry said, all of a sudden stuff starts to happen. You know, that person that can help you, or that piece that you needed to build whatever it might be, or a new idea will come to you. All of these things come to you when you have your belief. And ways that you can support your belief, like you could make a vision board, right? We talked about writing down or drawing a picture of what it is that you want and drawing it as if it's already done, or writing it down, you know, as if it's already done. So those are great ways. In fact, I know some people that even write things down or draw their picture, and then they will tape it to their bed or their bedroom door or the bathroom mirror, somewhere where they can look at it. So believing in it and then looking at it and being able to see it often really helps with that too. So here's a couple of ideas. Impossible tasks. And maybe an easy one to think of is, I have this huge pile of really big rocks that I have to move from one place to another. So picture in your head, you got this big pile of rocks. Okay, so my possible mission, the thing that I want to do, is move this pile of rocks. So maybe I draw a picture of the rocks in the new place. And then I open myself up and I start to maybe make a plan, like, okay, can I lift the rocks? No, they're too heavy. But can I get help to lift the rocks? Or can I start to do a little research and make a plan, and maybe there's something that will help me move the rocks, right? Some piece of equipment. So that's an easy thing to think about. Here's another one that was really big in its time. So this example is about running, and I know all of you are good runners, so picture yourself running. So in the Olympics, right? The Olympics is this big worldwide thing where people come together to do their different sports. And in the first Olympics, they kept track and wrote down the times of how fast someone could run. So these were men, and they were running a mile. And a mile is 4 times around a field, like if you've seen a football field or a soccer field. So that's running 4 times around the field equals a mile. So they would keep track of the time for these people to run. And they said, there's no way someone could ever run this in under 4 minutes. There's just no way. And everyone believed that. Everyone in the world believed that. The runners believed it. The people watching believed it. The people taking the times believed it. And that was true until 1956, when a man named Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile. I think I have that right. Is that right, Barry?
It is. It is.
Yeah,
you're doing great.
But so he broke it, and he broke it by only a second. And then everyone was like, wait a minute. The other runners now were like, well, if that person could run it in under 4 minutes, then can I run it in under 4 minutes? And there's now been a new record that was set. And that now is 3 minutes and 43 seconds. So it just keeps getting faster and faster and faster. But there was a time when everyone believed that was impossible. And yet it still got done. So those are a couple of examples of thinking about something that's impossible, and then all of a sudden it happens. And our affirmation for today is about just this. It is, I can do the impossible. I can do the impossible. And I know you can do the impossible, Barry.
I can indeed.
I also know I can do the impossible. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And remember to shift that thinking. It's now mission possible. And we know that you can do, create, be, attract all of those incredible things into your life. Have fun.
Go do it.
Bye.